It's your host, Angry Old Hoops, and I've got an interesting one for you today. I hope you will stick with it because I have to do a bit of a deep dive in order to fully reveal the depths that ESPN is going through for LeBron James. This example is blatant and subtle at the same time, which is what makes it interesting. I think many people may not have even caught this. And if you're someone who just tunes in real quick, check on the NBA, or if you have the mind of someone who can actually like a player such as LeBron James, then this would work on you. I'm going to show you exactly what is so manipulative about it. On the heels of the Lakers looking fantastic against the Jazz, without LeBron James, what does ESPN do? They give a teeny tiny portion of their show to looking at how well some of the players did. The rest of the show, despite LeBron not playing, manages to be about lifting up LeBron. And let's start with one of the first graphics that Malika shows. And, you know, it'd be easy for me to crucify Malika specifically, but I don't know if she wrote this. I don't know if this is her personal bit of journalism. I don't know if she's just the messenger. But I will say this. Whether you wrote the lies or just the person saying the lies, if you're willing to tell lies, then you're just as guilty. So they can all go to hell as far as I'm concerned. So Malika shows Rui and AD did something that hasn't been done on the Lakers since Shaq and Kobe. Now, you should be wondering to yourself, if LeBron James is who LeBron James supposedly is, why, in the 5 years that he's been there, has he not accomplished what Rui, who hasn't even been with the Lakers a full year, accomplished in one night with Anthony Davis? No, that's not brought up. In fact, moments later, we switch to this. Literally moments later, she switches from praising the Lakers to saying, but we all know the Lakers will only go as far as AD and LeBron can take them.
At the end of the day, we know the Lakers are just going to go as far as LeBron James and Anthony Davis can take them.
I mean, just throw reality out the window. Throw all the evidence out the window. Let's get right back to propping up LeBron James. And one of the things that they do a lot with LeBron James, and many of you know this already, is to combine LeBron and AD. In circumstances such as, let's say, AD scores 45 and LeBron scores 10. And the headline will be, AD and LeBron combined for 55. AD is the anchor of this team. AD is playing very, very well this year. LeBron, not so much, despite what ESPN would have you believe. But, hey, let's throw him up on the screen too, so that people think he's part of the success story. And I know you sheeple, you people who can't think for yourselves, are saying, oh, but LeBron's numbers, look what this and that. Why, hey, do you really think I'm not going to cover that? In fact, that's what Malika shows next, which is the core of this episode.
Because despite being in his 21st season, he's still one of the league's best.
This bullshit screen of stats reminds me of when at the beginning of the year, instead of showing his points, they put in his column how many minutes he played in order to make him stack up against the other people that were putting him on the screen. In this case, once again, they carefully select which stats they want to show, but not only that, they carefully select who they are going to compare him to. Let me explain. Let's start at the right of the screen. She has 3-point shooting percentage up there, and she is comparing him to Paul George. Look, LeBron is shooting better than Paul George. Because they are bothering to show this, because they are comparing to Paul George, you might be tempted to assume that Paul George is a great three-point shooter. He is currently number 60. So LeBron is a little bit above number 60. That's certainly an improvement from LeBron when he was at the absolute bottom of the league the previous 2 years. But number 57 is worth talking about. If she had presented it that way, saying LeBron is 57th in the league in three-point percentage, would you be impressed? No, this is manipulation. They left that part out. Why? Why did you choose Paul George at number 60? Oh, because you can't compare him to someone in the top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20, 30, 40. Good Lord. He's not even in the top 50.
He's still one of the league's best.
If you're counting all the way to 57 as the league's best, sure thing, Malika. What bullshit are you putting on the screen in order to distract us from the fact that the Lakers just kicked ass without LeBron James? So now let's go over to the left in the points per game. LeBron always gets his points, even if it costs the team the game. But 24 points per game, 24 point anything points per game, and she's comparing him to Kawhi Leonard. The shock value, oh, Kawhi, he's got more points than Kawhi. Kawhi is 18th in the league, and Kawhi has to share the ball with James Harden, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, several others. So LeBron James is number 16 in points per game. That's not so bad, but is it really worth talking about? Especially when you consider that so many of his points per game are uncontested layups and free throws that he doesn't deserve to be taking. That's not just talk. I break down his games and I show the evidence. You go watch those games if you don't believe me. We're not fitting that into this one. This one is looking at specifically how ESPN brainwashes the brainwashable. I mean, it's 2024. 24 points per game isn't that much anymore. Luka is averaging a full 10 points per game more than that. Not maxing out, averaging 10 more per game than that. Again, is being 16th that bad? No, but is that the goal they were going for?
He's still one of the league's best.
I'm sure they were hoping that the impression of saying that he was outscoring Kawhi Leonard would give you the impression that he's in the top 5 of the league or something like that. Speaking of carefully selecting the categories, did you know that LeBron James is ranked 99th in free throw percentage? 99th in free throw percentage. He's 28th in attempts. So he's certainly getting enough tries to have the practice required to shoot better than that. He's 8th. He cracks the top 10 in turnovers. 8th in the league in turnovers. Not showing you that, are they? How much do you think turnovers affect whether or not you win a game? Especially when most of LeBron James's turn into 4-on-5 fast breaks for the other team. He's 126th in the league in offensive rebounds.
He's still one of the league's best.
But if you stick to the way that Malika showed this data and are impressed by that, they switch to the next screen and say, despite how great LeBron is playing, the Lakers are all the way down here. So that
despite that sustained individual success,
and the narrative becomes, what does LeBron have to do to carry this Laker team? Do you see how quickly things changed from the reality that the Lakers play well without LeBron James, flipping completely over to the Lakers desperately need LeBron James without actually providing real evidence? Why are they going to these links? Being 57th in three-point percentage is not newsworthy. So why is ESPN going through such links to create these graphics to present a story that gives an impression about a certain player? Come on, you cannot tell me that that is not a blatant attempt to influence the minds of the viewers. And you also can't ignore the timing. This is wagging the dog 101. They are saying, look over here, look over here. Don't look at the success of the Lakers without LeBron. Don't look at LeBron's childish antics. Look what we have to show you over here. It's bullshit and it's garbage, but we're showing it to you. Instead of ridiculing LeBron James as being a bad leader, not being a good teammate, the fact that he's constantly demanding trades or to be traded. No. They're right back to praising LeBron, Isn't that nice? No wonder the guy acts as bad as he does. There's no accountability. Whatever he does, he is off the hook. And his behavior, despite the fact that he's nearly 40 years old, has become more childish each year. I mean, to say that passive, aggressive behavior is motivating? What was it after the Knicks game? When he goes, "We have what we have, so there's nothing to talk about." You know, it wasn't a positive to it. It's like, hey, we have what we have, nothing to talk about. We're good. I'm good with this crew. No, it was whiny, pouty. We have what we have, so there's nothing to talk about. Wow, can't wait to go to work with you. See you tomorrow at practice, buddy. The whole team will pretend that you don't lead us in turnovers every single night, and that we don't wait for you to catch up on the fast break so that we can throw you the wide open, easy dunk so you can get your points, or we all have to stand around while you hit the ground and lay there and roll for 5 minutes per game. Don't get back on D, shrug your shoulders, raise your hands, look at us and blame us. You are the motivator of motivators. If LeMedia is going to give LeBron James credit for these 2 recent games that he didn't play because of that tweet, what are they saying about the games that the Lakers won without him earlier in the season? Are we going to ignore the 3 wins that the Lakers had prior to this set of data when LeBron didn't play? There wasn't any cryptic tweet back then motivating them. What excuse are you going to use to give LeBron James credit for those wins when he set out those as well? And it's worth noting that when LeBron James came back against some of those same teams that the Lakers beat without him, they lost. The Rockets and the Spurs come to mind. James returns, they can't beat the team suddenly. As long as we're digging into the past, let's look at the percentage of big-time teams that LeBron just happened to choose to sit out against. I mean, that's not motivating. Saying, oh, here, guys, you can handle that on your own because I'm afraid. He sat out against Minnesota. He sat out against the Clippers. He sat out against Boston. And for some reason, he is scared of playing Utah. Someone said I was a little bit unfair for blaming LeBron for all of this. Well, it's being done on his behalf. Who benefits from it? So while other people are indeed guilty, ESPN, the media as a whole, for the most part, Adam Silver, the announcers, it all revolves around who they're doing it for and why they're doing it. So why on earth would I take LeBron James off the hook? I mean, these people are applauding shitty, childish behavior that no one at home should ever emulate, never copy, never, ever want to grow up to behave like. Not only is he not held accountable for that behavior, no, they come up with a way to say that being passive-aggressive actually was a good thing. That his hourglass tweet resulted in a 6-1 record since that tweet. Well, let's take a deep dive into that, shall we? And let's look at the 2 losses leading up to when LeBron decided to sit out. The Rockets and the Hawks. LeBron, if you watched those games, LeBron is massively to blame for those losses. And so after losing to the lowly Hawks, he puts out a late night tweet of the hourglass. And then shortly after that says, fuck him. I'm not going to play for the Celtics. I always have an injury I can blame. We'll just pretend that it's an injury. It's not just, we're motivated because we're afraid of what that hourglass means. No, they had an opportunity to look like a team. But I covered that in other videos. Let's just stick to the record here. So there's one win. So one of the games included in the 6-1 narrative was won without LeBron James. He comes back against the Knicks, and the refs won that game for the Lakers. Then come the lowly 13-win Hornets, whom D'Lo and AD had to have great games and perform well to lift the Lakers past LeBron's miserable play, just to beat the Hornets. LeBron was 0 for 5 from 3. 4 turnovers, 0 offensive boards, and as usual, 0 defense. Then comes the loss to Denver. Look, losing to Denver is no big surprise, but LeBron's performance was so laughable, I had to stop my video breakdown after a few minutes because there was just too much material. Then come the inconsistent Pelicans, followed by the bottom-of-the-barrel Pistons, whom, of course, LeBron was ready to suit up for. But not against Utah, who once again the Lakers beat without LeBron. 2 of the 6 wins, LeBron did not play. You cannot credit LeBron for those wins. Well, you can try. But the reality is LeBron didn't play, and the Lakers looked great. On the flip side of that, 100% of the losses, LeBron did play. Now, are you going to put the burden on LeBron's shoulders for that loss, the way that you wanted to give him the praise for the wins that he didn't even participate in? No. He's off the hook, I'm sure. So out of the remaining wins that LeBron did play, 2 of the games that resulted in wins when LeBron did play were against absolute trash, like the bottom of the league, which is saying a lot because the league is really questionable at the moment. Like the teams hovering in the 500 area, I mean, there's 500 level teams, and then there's this year's 500 level teams. But the Hornets and the Pistons are way, way below that. I mean, you're reaching as a sports analyst to include those 2 wins as a sign that LeBron and his passive aggressiveness turned the Lakers around. 8 wins, Pistons? Wow. Let me do a recap. You had 7 games to work with. 6 of those were wins. 2 of the 6 wins, LeBron didn't play. That's 33% of your success data set. That leaves 4 wins with LeBron playing. 50% of those were against absolute rubbish. I mean, the worst teams in the NBA. A more telling tale to tell is of the win-loss ratio when Anthony Davis is playing or not. But no, AD, once again, is just there so that LeBron can attach to him like a leech and be included in success stories. What do you guys think? Was that interesting? Looking at how they manipulate the data to keep the people at home fooled? I'll say one more thing. As a suffering Warrior fan, I see that the Lakers and Warriors play the Thursday following the All-Star break. By the way, is that not crazy? 4 days of rest prior to the All-Star game and another 4 days of rest after the All-Star game. Anyway, sadly, I don't predict a win for the Warriors. The Lakers are just too big. Curry, with his heroics, isn't going to be enough to overcome the size and the extra 3 players that the Lakers have dressed in stripes. I think the last game, despite the Warriors' 3-pointers, the Lakers' points from free throws actually eclipsed the Warriors' 3-point total. My God. All right, that's it for this episode. Let's hope I'm wrong about this coming Thursday. It is on TNT, so I will be recording it with the TNT Overtime app. Look forward to breaking that down.